No, he got it too.
Go ahead. You like that though. You like that though.
Yeah, once you make it past that.
Yeah. You like that though. He like that though. He like that though.
Okay. Okay.
Make some noise. Y'all quiet.
Be quiet.
She needs some pressure.
She said be quiet.
Thanks. I went for no reason. Hey,
He said carry the stallion. You did it faster in the hills.
Oh, be careful. Be careful. Oh, you got it. Oh!
Five what?
5 Olympic sports.
Skiing. I read English and now I can't think of anything else.
What is it?
Skiing, tennis, ping pong, running, track.
You, Crystal.
Yes!
Name 5 types of crystal gems.
Ruby, diamond, emerald, and tanzanite.
One more.
What? There's one more? Opal.
Dude, black shirt. Name 2 Broadway musicals.
I have 2 minutes to what?
2 Broadway musicals.
Hamilton and Les Miserables.
5 types of soda. Go. Fanta, Coke, ginger ale, grape, That's right. Okay, you can give us the potato back. I don't know. You can give us, yeah, it was 5. Name 3 state capitals. Name 3 state capitals. Grab it. I don't know. You don't. That's great. That's a great answer. Love it. 5 classic rock bands. Go.
AC/DC, Led Zeppelin.
Green.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard we have to do it. Band. The Beatles, Three Dog Night, and Boston.
Name 5 countries.
5 countries?
Yes.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela.
Yes.
What's up, y'all? Hey, I'm gonna give you time to come in. I'm gonna give you guys time to come in.
So, we are jumping into the second half of this thing that we started last week called Pass It On. And if you weren't here last weekend, everybody kind of look over here on the side. You see a giant airplane wing. If you were not here last weekend, I'm going to explain that in a few minutes, and you didn't get a chance to sign the wing, you're welcome to do that tonight. We do that every once in a while where we sign the wing as a way of saying, hey, I am part of this student ministry, and sometimes our students write the name of someone that they're praying for, right? Somebody that you're praying for that you want to invite to church sometime. So you're welcome to write your name and the name of a person that you're praying for on that wing before you leave tonight. So encourage you to do that. Okay, so I want you to think for a second. You know, we started this thing last week called Pass It On, where we were talking about this idea of passing on the story of Jesus and passing on our faith to people that we know and our friends, right? Tonight we're going to switch gears on that and talk about another thing that goes along with that. But I want you to think about all of the ways that you have given people messages. Okay, raise your hand if you've ever done this. I realize that some of you don't have phones yet, but if you've ever sent a text message, raise your hand, okay? Some of you. Okay, how many of you guys have ever liked something on social media? Okay, how many of you guys have ever commented on something on social media? Okay, great. How many of you guys have social media? Okay, most of you. Okay, how many of you have ever written a note on a piece of paper and handed it to someone to tell them something in class? Natalie, you raised your hand really fast there. It's interesting. Let's have you come up and talk about that. No, never mind. Okay, so a lot of you have done that. Okay. How many of you have sent a note to someone that you liked saying, do you like me? Checkbox yes or no. Okay, Izzy does that all the time. Okay, great. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have done that? Okay, fantastic. Okay, you're all weird. Okay, how about non-written or texting or just like kind of the communication where you're sitting with someone that you know really well and someone says something and it's kind of weird or it's like an inside joke and you just look, everybody look at my face. I know it's hard for you to look at it, but everybody stare at my face right now, okay? Thank you very much. Camera, stare at my face where you're at. Okay, here I am. All right, zoom in on my face as much as you can, okay? Anyway, so you're in a room and something gets said and you're there with someone who's like really close to you, you're their friend, and somebody says something, you just kind of give them that look. You know what I'm saying? Where you just kind of go, and they go, right. And you know what it means. They don't know. Nobody else knows what it means, but you know what it means. And you're like, you can't wait for the thing to be over so you can go, can you believe that? Right? And it's just that moment where it's kind of fun. Okay. Did you know that before all of these ways that people communicated with text and messages and writing things and all this stuff, that people actually used to communicate on a regular basis with pigeons? Are you aware of this? Do you know what a pigeon is? These are these birds that fly around and poop on you. All right? Back in the day, carrier pigeons were huge. Okay? They used them in wars, and they used them to like send secrets. Are you aware of this? Have you seen this? Okay. This blows my mind. I knew about it, but it blows my mind. I want you to watch this video that explains how carrier pigeons work. Okay? Watch this. It's like a minute long.
Carrier pigeons, World War I. Carrier pigeons are one of the unsung heroes of the First World War. Their role in delivering messages to the front line was crucial, even though wired communication was in wide use by that time. In cases when communication wires were destroyed by artillery fire, cut by enemy soldiers, or when a unit advanced to a position in front of the prepared communication line, soldiers were using carrier pigeons to deliver messages to their bases. For that purpose, a special breed of pigeons were used, the racing homer. This breed has been developed selectively for racing since the middle of the 19th century. Because of their exquisite speed and the ability to navigate to their original position, these pigeons were used during the war to deliver messages between units on the front lines back to base. Each unit on the front kept one or more pigeons in the loft. In case of emergency, the soldier would write a paper message in a small tube attached to the pigeon's leg and release the bird into the sky. Using its homing ability, the pigeon flew back to its prepared coop back at base. Once inside, a bell sounded as a sign for the soldier to pick up the message. The job of delivering messages was not easy at all. Once in the air with the message attached to their legs, carrier pigeons became a target for enemy soldiers who tried to shoot them down.
That's not cool. Okay, so there's all these theories about how carrier pigeons knew where to go. Like I'm like, how can you give a bird a message and it knows where to go? I'm like, that doesn't work. There's no way. I can't even give my dog anything and it doesn't even know what's happening. It's like, here, dog, and it's like, I'll see you later. And I'm like, no, you're supposed to do this. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay. So how do you get, so there's all these theories about how carrier pigeons work. One is that they're incredibly smart and they see visual clues on the ground and they fly from one place to the other and they know how to do it. The other is that they're like dialed in to the magnetic forces in the earth. I don't know if that's true, but that's another theory about how they work, okay? Now, I was thinking about this. So tonight, we're going to try a carrier pigeon game. Okay, so Brandy, will you do me a favor? Come get this box, okay? Come get this box and put it on that table right behind you, all right? And Gabe, will you grab this box of stuff, okay? And put it on that table clear in the back, all right? Now, everybody from here over, you're on Brandy team, okay? So you guys all go over there. You guys are all team Brandy. Get up and go over there where Brandy is, okay? All of you guys, everybody on this side, you are Team Gabe in the corner, all right? Now, Brandy and Gabe, pick out 3 people from your side and send them to me. Just pick out 3 people, okay? Pick out 3 people and send them up. 3 people, all right? 3 people just come up here. Are you one of the 3? Here's a mask for you. Stay right here. Here's another one. Here's a mask. I need 3 people on the other side. Are you guys the 3? All right, here you go, guys. Guys, you need to put this mask on, okay? You need to put this mask on, okay? Here you go. You need to put this mask on. This is your bird mask, okay? These carrier pigeons used to wear these little masks sometimes when they flew, okay? That looks great. Let me get a picture of that. Here, guys, wait a minute. I gotta get a picture of that. All right, you guys, everybody look at me. Everybody scoot together real fast. We got to get this picture. This is classic. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, here's how it's going to work. All right, you guys go back to your side. You 3 go back to your side. You 3 go back to your side. Okay, the 3 people wearing the masks are the only ones that are allowed to fly over to the other basket. All right, so you have to act like you're flying over. Sometimes birds, they soar, so you have to actually act like you're flying when you go over, okay? You can only go one at a time, all right? So SJ, you go first, and then so on and so on, you come back, okay? You can only take out of the box 1 note card at a time. You guys are doing the same thing. You're coming over to Gabe, and you're picking out 1 note card and taking it back. The only people that can touch the note cards are the birds, are the pigeons, okay? What you're trying to do is you're bringing all the note cards back. So you run over, come back, the second person goes. You run over, come back, second person goes. All right? What you're trying to do is look at the note cards and put them in the right order of the sentence that they make. Okay? They make a sentence. You have to figure out what the order is. Does that make sense? Okay. So pigeons, first pigeon go back all the way to Gabe. Other pigeon go all the way back to Brandy. Okay? My first 2 pigeons. Okay? And then when I say go, the pigeons are going to go one at a time, get a card, and come back. One at a time, get a card, and come back. First team, this is important, the first team that thinks they have the sentence spelled out, run up here. All right, if you think you get it first, you've got to figure it out, run up here. All right, are you ready? On your mark, get set, go! Everybody else, you're trying to help figure out what they're spelling. You're trying to figure out what they're spelling. All right, so you're going to get 1 card, go back, lay it out, try to figure out what the sentence is. You got to fly over there. Oh, you're not flying fast enough. You got to keep flying. Okay, fly over there, Lucy. Get over there quickly. That looks good. You're flying. That's good. Wow. You're flying now. And you keep going. There's like 7 cards. You keep going till you've got them all. Keep going till you've got them all. Keep going. Now we've got some inspirational music. I like it. Keep going. Once you think you know what the sentence is, run up here. If you know what the sentence says, hurry. Who's going to get it first? Which team is going to figure out the sentence first? If you got it, run up here. If you think you got it, run up here, somebody. If you got it, you know it? Okay, you think you have it? Tell me what you think it is. You don't know, you gotta know what it is. Send somebody up who knows what it is. If you know what the sentence is. You think you know what it says? Okay, we've got a winner. All right, you can sit down. Again. Good job. The sentence was, why does Kyle smell like old cheese? Okay? Now, this is not a random sentence. You're like, why? That's so random. Back in the day, I had a student, and I had my message like this, printed out. And actually, I had written it out. This is like 150 years ago before we had computers, okay? And she grabbed the message after it was over and had a pen and wrote on my paper, why does Kyle smell like old cheese? So let's hear it for Jessie. She's probably married and stuff now, but she was great. I really loved her. She was fun. All right, here's the thing. Here's the point, all right? Obviously, carrier pigeons are not the most efficient way to communicate anymore, right? It just isn't the easiest way, right? We have so many other ways communicating. all of this technology, all of these ways that we can connect, all these things that happen, right? But when it comes to us communicating with our own families, sometimes it's hard, right? That's what we're going to talk about tonight is, last week we talked about all this idea of passing on Jesus' story and our faith to our friends and people we know. Tonight we're going to talk about how you, even as a middle schooler, okay, you can pass on your faith to your family. All right, we're going to talk about that tonight. Now, I want you to take your hand. Everybody, put your hand up like this, okay? And I want you to count out with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you're going to put up whatever you think is your answer. A 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. All right? Are you ready? Be honest. Be honest. On a scale of 1 to 5, how easy is it for you to talk to your family members? 1 is not good. 5 is awesome. Okay, 3s. I see some 3s. I see some 2s. I see some 1s. I see some 3.5. Okay, I see some 5s. Okay, next question. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being terrible, 5 being awesome, how well do you think your family listens to and understands you? 5 means they understand everything. 1 means they don't understand nothing. -5. Okay, I see. We're all over the board. Okay, next question. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being awful, 5 being amazing, how well do you think you listen and understand your family members? Are you a 5 in a listening, or are you a Willie? That's really funny. A lot of people put up 1s on the last question. Everybody's a 5 on this one. I'm the most compassionate person that's ever existed in America. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Okay, 2 more. 2 more. No, that's actually the last one. Let's just move on. Let's move on. That was good. That was good. Give you guys a hand. Give yourself a hand. You guys did that really well. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what's really weird. In theory, our relationships with our families are supposed to be the best because we're with them 24/7, 365. We have the same DNA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those relationships are supposed to be the best, but sometimes they're tough, okay? And sometimes it's just because of family stuff is weird. How many of you guys have seen the movie Finding Nemo? Best movie ever, right? Okay, I've got a little clip of Finding Nemo that kind of highlights this. Watch this clip. I love this movie. Check this out.
Wake up, wake up. Come on, first day of school.
Oh, I don't want to go to school. 5 more minutes.
Not you, Dad, me.
Okay.
Get up,
Huh?
get up.
I'm
Time for
up.
school, time
What
for
is-
school, time for school, time for school.
All right, I'm up. It's time for school.
Whoa.
Nemo!
First day of school.
Nemo, don't move! Don't move! You'll never get out of there yourself. I'll do it. All right, where's the brake? You feel a brake? Sometimes you can't tell because fluid is rushing to the area. Now, any rushing fluids? Are you woozy? How many stripes do I have?
I'm fine.
Answer the stripe question.
3.
No! See, something's wrong with you. I have 1, 2, 3. That's all I have? Oh, you're okay.
Okay, so sometimes communication with our families can be weird. Our parents sometimes don't communicate to us the way that we want to. Sometimes they're overprotective, like Nemo's dad. Or sometimes you might even feel like they don't care about you. And that's hard too, right? Tonight, we're going to kind of drill into that a little bit, okay? In my family, I was really struggling for an example of like how we don't communicate or when I got mad. The only story I could think of was one time my son Bennett, who's the youngest in our family, played baseball, and we were coming off a baseball game, and he had one of those big giant water bottles that everyone carries, like the metal one, And we're coming off the field, and he didn't do well, or something was not happy. He wasn't happy, and we're walking to my car. And my car is only about a year old at this point. Pretty new car. Not the most expensive car on the planet, but it was new to me, right? And he takes out of frustration, he takes the water bottle and he goes, sounded just like that in my mind. And I still see it in slow motion. Boom! on the fender of my car, massive dent. Now, not the best moment, not happy, but, you know, I'm the dad, he's the kid, and you have to measure, your response, right? So after I put him in a headlock and beat him up, I was like, Bennett, let's talk about your frustration leading to my car being broken, you know? And so not the best moment for our thing. Here's the thing, you guys. Here's something to really remember. Jesus always taught us and showed us, if you look at his life, that even when things are hard with our family, we're supposed to love them in the best way possible that we can, right? He challenged us not only to share the good news about him with our friends, but he challenged us to also share that good news with our families. Now, I realize that it might seem a little weird to you, and I realize that in this room, we have a mixed bag of what's going on at your house, okay? Some of you, and this has always been true about our student ministry, some of you come to church and you're exploring Jesus and you believe in him, or maybe you're still working on that, while your parents don't care or don't believe in Jesus. We've had that 100 years. We've had that in this church where we've had kids who come, but their parents don't really care about that, right? So you could be in that category, or you could be in a category where your family encourages you to know Jesus and they're actually supportive, okay? Either category you're in, this stuff applies to you, all right? Here's the thing. It's not always about you sitting down with a family member going, let me tell you about Jesus, okay? Because maybe you won't do that. But you can show who Jesus is every day through your actions. And we're going to talk about that tonight, all right? We're going to talk about how do you pass on the good news of Jesus through your actions. And we're actually going to look at a couple of stories in the Bible where we see this happen all the time. Okay, so we're gonna put one story up. Okay, it's from the book of Acts. All right, chapter 16, verses 9 through 15. So we're gonna put this up on the screen, and I'm gonna read it, and I just want you to kind of hear it. Okay, this is a story about a woman named Lydia. Okay, and what happens is there's this guy Paul, and he's got some people that he hangs out with, and they travel around and tell people about Jesus. Okay, and this is a story where he goes to this town called Macedonia. And he talks to this woman, Lydia, and her response to finding out about Jesus. Check it out. Here's what she says. It says, on the Sabbath, so this is a Sunday. Okay, this is a holy day, all right? We went to a little way outside the city to a riverbank where we thought people would be meeting for prayer. And we sat down to speak with some women who had gathered there. One of them was Lydia from she was from there. A merchant of expensive purple cloth who worshiped God. As she listened to us, the Lord opened her heart and she accepted what Paul was saying. Now here's what else happens. She and her household were baptized, and she asked us to be her guests. If you agree that I am a true believer in the Lord, she said, come and stay at my home. And she urged us until we agreed. Now, this is fascinating. Okay, this is fascinating. So Lydia's hanging out, right? Sitting by the riverbank, warm day, hanging out, right? Paul and his friends come up and they tell her about Jesus. And so she hears the good news, right? Paul gives the good news, right? She, as we're told, she immediately goes home and she shares it with her family, right? And her family was so convinced by what she said and her sincerity, right, that they believed too and came and got baptized, right? Their family even gave Paul and his team a place to stay. A pretty amazing story how she was faithful to this thing that she felt, this thing that happened to her that felt so true and so real that she went and shared it immediately with her family, okay? So that's Lydia. Let's also talk about another couple of people called Louis and Eunice. Boy, Louis. Yeah, these two ladies. Sorry. Lois and Eunice, okay? Lois and Eunice. All right, we're going to read their story. Here's what happened with them. Okay, here's the verse. Timothy I thank God for you, the God I serve with a clear conscience, just as my ancestors did night and day. I constantly remember you in my prayers. I long to see you again, for I remember your tears as we parted, and I will be filled with joy when we are together again. Remember your genuine faith, for you share the faith that first filled your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice. And I know that some faith continues strong in you. So there's this guy Timothy in the Bible, which you guys should know. Okay? Timothy was basically your age. Okay? He was basically your age. All right? And his mother and his aunt, they loved God, they loved Jesus, right? They knew all about it, and they passed it on to Timothy. Okay? And then if Timothy, you can read about in the Bible, Timothy went around and was starting churches. Not much older than you guys, right? So he passed it on to someone else. He's a major figure in the Bible, all right? We learn a lot about how he went along and passed it on, all right? Now, the Bible is full of these stories, right? It's full of these stories of young people like you and others who living their lives and taking a chance to share that with family members have made an impact for Jesus, okay? The Bible is full of them. They're not always like the most wow kind of stories, right? They're not like the one that you remember when you're like, hey, tell me a Bible story. And you're like, oh, tell me the one about, David and Goliath, or it's really exciting and all this kind of stuff, right? They're the ones that are everyday life stuff. People being faithful in everyday life stuff. Being faithful to what they believe, to the people that they know, and in their own families. Okay? There's one more verse. It's in 2 Corinthians 5, 18 through 20. And it says this. And all of this is a gift from God, who brought us back to himself through Christ. And God has given us this task of reconciling people to him. For God was, in Christ, reconciling the world to himself, no longer counting people's sins against them, and he gave us this wonderful message of reconciliation. So, we are, this is the important word I want you to learn with me tonight, we are Christ's ambassadors. Okay? God is making his appeal through us. We speak for Christ when we plead, come back to God. For God made Christ, who never sinned, to be the offering for our sin, so that we could be made right with God through Christ. Look at that word, Christ's ambassadors, those two words. Super important, okay? I think I said this last week, but I want to say it one more time. Thousands and thousands of years ago, Jesus came, right? And he walked the earth, and he met these people, and he had an impact on them. And they were faithful to him. And they shared the story with someone, and then they shared the story with someone, and then they shared the story with someone, and then they shared the story with someone, and that happened a million times. And then somebody shared the story with someone in your world, which ended up with us being together. It's not a coincidence. See, this stuff is important. It has to happen in a certain way. People who are willing and faithful to understand what Jesus did for us, died on the cross, died for our sins, free gift, amazing thing, who want to share that with other people. And I want to encourage you. I really want you to share it with your friends, at your school, your clubs, your sports teams, all that kind of stuff. But I also want you to live it out inside of your own family, right? I want you to live it out inside of your own family because it builds your relationship, right? If your family doesn't know Jesus, it might mean using your words, like Lydia, to tell them about it. It might mean that. But whether your family knows Jesus or not, we can be his ambassador. Right? We can live in a way that shows that God's important to us. There's all kinds of ways to do that, right? You can pass on the good news to your family. And I just want to finish by giving you 3 reasons why you might want to do that, okay? Here are the 3 reasons why you might want to consider passing on this good news to your family, all right? Consider this. Jesus as we look at his life, he served others, and he calls us to do the same, all right? Jesus didn't have to serve anybody. He's like the Savior of the world, right? But he often just humbled himself and served other people. So you guys, you may not think of it this way, but I want you to start thinking of it this way. When you come home from school and you're tired and you've got a stack of homework, or if you're Justin Kim, you have a stack of homework like this. Yes, sir, right? Justin has more homework than anyone in America, I think. I've seen it, okay? So you got a lot of homework, right? But there's always stuff that has to be done at the house, right? Raise your hand if you have chores at your own house. Okay, yes, you do, all right? And I'm guessing, I'm not going to make you raise your hand this time, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there have been occasional times when your attitude during doing those chores has not been awesome. Right? When your mom's like, hey, do this, and you're like, oh. Basically, that's basically your response. It may not be exactly that verbally, but in your mind, you're going, you're like, I want to hit my mom with lightning. Okay, that's what you're thinking. I know it, okay, because that's what I'm thinking. Okay, here's the thing, guys. Every time that with a cheerful heart, you contribute to what your family needs to do to get things done, you are serving not only your family, but you're serving God. Remember that he calls us to that stuff. So it's not just about, having to do the chores. It's about the attitude and why you're doing it. Yeah, you're doing it because you want to be part of your family, but you're also doing it out of love for God, okay? Serving, by the way, always keeps you humble, okay? It keeps you humble. We have so many volunteers in this church. Your small group leaders are volunteers. They don't get any money to come here and hang out with you guys. They've all tried to get money from me. I'm always like, get away from me, okay? They don't get any money, right? Occasionally they get like candy. We have a Christmas party for them where they get some pretty good food, and we do some other stuff, but it's not like we're paying them millions of dollars to hang out with you all, okay? They do it because they want to do it, right? And they do it out of a humble spirit. It's a humble spirit to come and hang out with you guys. So serving keeps us humble. And the last thing is this, and I'm so excited about this with you guys especially, our 7th and 8th graders. You have something to give. And everybody look at me again. I know it's really painful to look at my face. All right? But everybody look at me again. Hello, camera. How you doing? Good to see you. Everybody look at the camera and wave. Hi, camera people. It's all of us. We're your family. We're all one. Here's the thing. Everybody look at me, okay? You have something to give, right? And over the next 6 years, I'm going to pull it out of you. All right? I am going to rip it from you so that it can be used to strengthen our Hanger family. By you giving what you got, all of you guys are awesome. There are things about you I can't wait to discover. I love when 7th graders come in. I love 8th graders because I've gotten to know them by 1 year because I